Hi everybody, it's Sam here. Thank you for watching today. So I'm back with another scraps video. So I've got 5 fun cards to show you, all using your scraps. So these are the scraps that I've chosen today. This one's the Mariposa by First Edition. This one is an American crafts brand. I can't think for the life of me which one it is, but someone will probably know. Then I'm using, this is a First Edition one. I've got, this one is Secret Garden by Dovecraft, and this one is the Herbarian by Craft Consortium. So first of all, I'm going to grab the Mariposa one, and I've got a really nice idea. Okay, so for this one, we're going to make mini envelopes out of 2" by 2" squared pieces of scraps. I've already gone ahead and made 8 of them here. I've popped some foam on the back there. Really easy to do. I actually show you how to make your own envelopes in a tutorial, which I'll link up here. And these are just very small ones, and it's an origami fold, so it's really easy to do. So grab your piece of 2 by 2. If you've got double-sided, that's fine. You're not really going to see it unless you want to keep yours open, which you can also do. Basically, you're going to pop it on the... So it's in a diamond orientation, and you're just going to fold across, but don't fold all the way across, just fold in the middle. You just want to create a little crease. You could also just draw a line across here and mark the middle point, and then rotate, and again just join those points up, and I'm just pushing it in the middle there. Now you probably can't see the crossover there, but I can just about make it out. You then want to bring this point into that middle. Okay, and then work on the opposite. So bring this one across. So you have something like that. You're then going to bring this bottom one up so it lines up with the tops of these points here. I'm sure many of you have made these. Like I said, it's a popular origami fold. So just bring that one up like so. And you'll see now we've got that effect. You can now leave that with a point if you want to, because I'm actually going to close mine up completely. But if you'd like yours to be actual working little envelopes, just fold that piece down and just kind of pop it inside there. So now you have a little pocket there once we glue that down. But I'm not going to bother with mine. I'm going to just close the whole thing up. But you just want to fold it over, just so you're folding a little bit of these corners. Just kind of pushing with my nail there. Just fold that down. And there you have your little envelope. I'm just going to secure all of that, so I have these. But like I said, if you want to just pop some glue down the sides here, you could have a tiny little note in there then, or you could have something that pulls up like a concertina fold, attach one end, pull the rest out, and there's a long little message on there. So next I'm just going to grab my quick grab glue, and I'm just going to pop it all inside here, all on there, and fold the sides back in. Like so, and then pop some glue on there and just bring that one over. And I've got these little hearts, which I just used using one of my dies. You could pop anything on here if you want, and you'll see there you get that really lovely effect. Then I'm just using one of my foam dots here and just pop that on the back. So you want to do that so that you have 9. That's if you want that many. You may choose to have less. You may want even more if you're doing a bigger card. So this is going to be on a 6 by 6 top folding card. So this is a piece of 12 by 6, and along the 12" side I've just scored at 6 inches. Fold that in half. I've then cut this piece, which is 5 3/4 squared, and I've ran it through with this embossing folder, which is a Craftwork Cards embroidery one. And you just see it gives you that nice texture, and I'm going to just stick this one onto here. Okay, so that's all stuck down. I've stamped my sentiment. This is a Sending Hugs and Happy Thoughts. I thought it worked well with the envelopes with the word sending, and it's from the Dovecraft General Sentiments stamp set. This is cheap as chips. So many people have purchased this over the years of me recommending it, and I'm sure it's still available, so I will link it below. But I'm going to have this one, I think, about here, and then I'm going to have 3 envelopes here and then 6 along the top. So I want to try and have it so I've got an equal kind of balance of the green. So let's start off with the green in the middle there, and then a green and a green, like so, and then something like that at the bottom. I think that looks really nice. Or I could have all 9 of them above and the sentiment. Oh, I think I prefer that actually, and then the sentiment below. So I think I'm going to go with that. So what I would suggest, once you've got it in place, is start from the middle one and then work your way out. And that way you know that you're going to have everything where you want. So I'm going to get that one down like so, and then I can just make sure I space everything equally around that center one. So that's the finished card. I think it looks adorable. I think this is going to be perfect for Valentine's as well, especially if you do have one open and it has, like I said, a long message coming out of it. So that's card number 1 finished. So for card number 2, I'm using these scraps here. Again, I cannot think where these ones are from. The paper pad is finished. It literally is everything just in here. And I know I used it on a few scrapbook layouts and a mini album, but I can't think. So hopefully someone can tell me. Okay, so this is going to be going on a 5x7 card. So I've already gone ahead and I've cut all these strips. Now I didn't really count the amount. I won't use all of these. I'll pop them back into my scraps. But I've done 4 different kind of patterns. And they are, you don't want them to be any taller than the card size that you're popping them onto. So I think these were 6.5 because this is a 7-inch card. And then you want to do some that are going to fit within the width. So these must have been 4.5. So first of all, I'm just going to lay down the vertical ones. Some of these are slightly different heights. It really doesn't matter because you do actually want to snip into them a little bit afterwards. And then let's take that one there. And then I might do another like so. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it like that. So what's that? 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be 4 inches wide, which is going to fit nicely onto this piece here, because this is my matte layer. It's curved because I've already put the foam on the back, but that will flatten out in a moment. I think I'm going to go for that wide. I can take some away if I decide it's too much. Next, you want to grab one of your strips that you're going to have going horizontal, and you want to weave them. Now, the first one's always going to be a little bit fiddly until you start sticking it in place. Once you've stuck the first ones in place, then everything else will go much quicker. So in fact, I don't think I'm going to have all of them. I'm going to take that one away because I want to see the ends and I want to see the tops. So you will have them kind of different heights. So bring that one down a bit lower. Like I said, once you've just got this bit done, the rest, it will be much quicker and easier. I think I'm going to have a little slight gap in between them because you're going to see the white come through. So you're really going to notice the pattern because I've got a pink background on this mat. You can't really see the gaps in between. But I'm just kind of keeping this one straight and make sure all the rest are parallel with each other. But once you've kind of got it where you're happy, once you add your glue, you'll be able to wiggle it around. But that, I'm happy with that kind of how it's starting there. So next I'm just going to grab my quick grab glue here. I'm just going to pop a blob there and then lay that one back down. Again, just make sure, this is when you want to make sure that they are nice and straight. So I'm just using my grid paper below there. And then I'm just going to pop some glue there and slide that one back down. I just want to have a little gap in between and have that just a little bit higher than the other one. Okay, and then again with this one, come down a bit lower. And I'll pop that one a bit higher. And then, see, it starts to get easy already now because you can pick the whole thing up. And then this last one I'll have quite low down. So the next one now, I'm just going to feed it under and over, making sure you start opposite to the one above. So that one went under. This one's going to start by going over, then under, over, under, over, under. And if you're using busy prints like me, you want to make sure you've got your background is quite plain, so you can see once I put that onto that white how much that pops. So again, just bring that up. Now what I'm going to do with these ones, I'm not going to glue all of them. I'm just going to glue the first one and the last one. So you can see now how it starts to get much easier. Now I think I'm going to bring in one of these white ones. So this one's going to go under, over, under, over, under, over. And again, I'm not going to trim any of them yet, the lengths. So then with this one, just pop the glue underneath. Like so. So I'm going to continue doing that now. So I'm going to have this orange strip as my last strip, so I'm just going in and sticking all of it down. So I'm just going under there, and I've already stuck the top ones all down there as well. So this piece here is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. I can't remember if I told you or not. So this is going straight down. It's white on white. I didn't want anything to take away from all of that pattern. And then this piece here is going to go over the top, and then I can trim in to all of those pieces there. Now I think what I'm going to do is attach it using some foam strips. I think it'd be nice to be lifted, so I'm just going to run some of these down through the middle. I'm going to be trimming the ends, so I don't want to go too close. And then decide where you want to place it. You could always trim into this before you stick it down, but I think this way I can really see how everything looks. So now I'm just going to trim each one there until they all fit within the card. Like I said, I want some of them a bit longer than others. Use my longer scissors, it'll be easier. Now you can really see that effect. It's nice lifting it up on the foam because you can really see all of the detail there in the middle. I actually think I'm going to have this as a top fold card because of the sentiment, because it's quite a wide sentiment. I was just going to have thank you in the middle, maybe down in the corner. Quite like it up the top actually. So this has already got foam on it. This is the Simply Creative range from Craft Label. So I'm just going to pop that one at the top there. So it doesn't take away from the pattern, but it just complements the bits of gold that are in some of the papers that I've used there. So that's card number 2. So for this next card, I thought I would do another birthday card with candles, because the one that I shared last Sunday, so many of you said you really liked the candle version that I made out of the 5 that I shared, and so many of you shared your versions over on our Mixed Up Crafters Facebook group. So I thought I would do this one that I made, I think it was about 3 years ago, for a magazine commission, and they actually kind of republished the magazine again, and I saw my card and it kind of reminded me, and I thought, oh, I'll share that one in the video because I've never shared it before. It's really easy, again, perfect for using your scraps. So you want to cut yourself, again, it depends how many candles you want. I'm going to have, I think it's 7 candles. So this is 1.5 by 3. You do end up cutting a little bit off this as well. First, what you want to do is just curve an end of it, because it would just make it easy when you go to stick this down. Then if you have any thin paintbrushes, or even maybe some of the craft sticks or chopsticks, something like that, you just want to be able to wrap it around. If you don't, then just roll it, but it can be a bit fiddly. If you've got something to wrap it around, it's much easier. So I'm just using this paintbrush here, and I'm just going to wrap it around a few times like so, and then I'm just going to use my glue, run a bead of glue down in the middle there, and then just keep rolling it, and you'll see the glue kind of spreads out as you roll it, and just kind of hold it in place until that's dry. And then once that's dry, you can just slide out the paintbrush, and then I just like to squash it just a little bit, because this is going to go in an envelope anyway. If you squash it a bit with the join on the back there, and you want to do that 7 times. Then I've got this piece here, which was from the scrap, so I'm working with the size that I had here. So this I've cut to 4.5 by, it's 6 3/8. It's just going to go on the top like so. Then I have this white piece, which is 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then this piece that I've embossed is 3.5 by 5. I've used the Lisa Horton embossing folder for that one there, and this is going to go in the middle here. So I'm going to stick all of these down first of all. I'm going to pop foam on the back of this piece just so it's lifted a little bit more. Okay, next you want to start positioning your candles. I want them slightly different heights, kind of grouped together and in the middle of this layer. Something like that. I think that looks quite cool. And then I'm going to again grab my quick grab glue and just run a bead down the back. You could use hot glue here if you would like, or your silicone glue. Get the first one in place and then you can start abutting all the rest up to that. So they're all secure. Now I was going to use yellow to do the flame and then draw in the wick, but now I think I'm going to do blue flames, which is obviously very different, but it's more of a masculine card and I think this is going to look quite cool. So I think I will draw the wick in first. So I've just got the fine liner and I'm just going to draw the wick, and then always test your Nuvo first. And I'm just going to do a little practice of a flame. I think I'm actually going to try this blue here. Yeah, I prefer this one. That one's a metallic. This one is the crystal drops. That one is the crystal drop, but it's the metallic navy blue. Whereas this one's a gloss, which I prefer. So let me just, again, something like that. Okay, so I think I got away with it. That's going to take some time to dry because that's very thick. Then I've got my sentiment here, which I popped onto some foam. And this is the Happy Birthday. I used the Midnight colour ink, and it's this one here again. It's from a magazine, and it's the Happy Birthday there. And I was just going to pop this one right through the middle, like so. There you have a really sweet card. So that's number 3. So for this card, I wanted to create kind of a quilted effect, and I thought I would use this tool here, which I've had for years. It's brilliant. It's a little distress tool by Dovecraft, and it has little blades in between the petals. So it allows you to create this distress look on your cardstock, and you could ink that up if you want to, but I'm going to keep it plain. So I've used my 1-inch punch here, but you could use dies. You can have any shape really you want, but I've gone for the square. I'll give you the number of them in a moment once I start sticking them down. And then once you've got your squares, you just use your distress tool and you'll see you start to get this really lovely effect. Now if you're using a darker cardstock and it's a white core, then that you'll really notice it, obviously that white colour coming through. But I'm going to keep it all the same for this one. Doesn't take long to do. You'll see you get that nice little distress look. Now what I'm thinking is going to be, because I now want to emboss this because I want to create kind of a quilted effect, and I've got these two here. I'm thinking this one, but something about that one would look really nice as well. So this is the Paper Discovery from the Time on Your Hands collection, and this is an X-cut damask print, but I think this one you're just going to see on all the pieces. So I do love this one, but there's a lot of kind of empty space there. I think for the quilted look I'm going for, I'm going to stick with the damask. So what I've cut is this piece of cardstock, which is much smaller, but it's going to have enough space for me to stick all these squares on. So this is 4.5 squared, because I want to run this piece all through my embossing folder. Now you may want to tack these very lightly before you distress them. Tack them very lightly onto here, run them through the embossing folder, then take them off and then distress them. But I'm hoping it's not going to flatten too much in the embossing folder, and hopefully I'll be able to fluff them up again anyway. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, so there's 5, and then it's 5, 10, 15, 20, so there's 25 in total, and I've got all different designs here, and you'll see that it just fit on this 4.5 by 4.5, but I want it to hang over the edges because I don't want to see any of this. I'm then going to put foam behind this and stick it onto this so it looks like it's lifted. I really want you to see all of the edges and just that detail. I don't want it to be stuck directly down onto the card. Then I'm going to pop that one there, green, let's do that one there, then another green, and then that one, and then green and pattern, plain, another pattern, green, and then just mirror what I've just done above. So green, that one there, that one, and then finish with those. There we go. So that's the quilt. Actually, just looking through my monitor, it does look like it's one of those, is it called a rug quilt, where all the edges are all you put it in the washing machine and they all fluff up. That's the effect in my head that I wanted to go for. So next I'm going to add the glue just into the corner, and you can start butting them right up next to each other now, as long as some part of them is attached to this piece below, because the idea is now you don't want to see any of that. Okay, I had a little bit of white card hanging over the edges, so you would have seen me just trim it away, but I think that looks really effective. I'm pleased with how that's come together, actually, much better than I thought it would. So you don't have to emboss it, but now I am going to pop it inside this one and get that one ran through. I'm going to pop it in the middle, although it's a repeated pattern, it doesn't matter too much. There we go. So it has flattened it, but I can just go in with my nail and just lift it all back up again. Can you see? It starts to come up. So it's a little bit tedious, but I really want to bring back that frayed edge. Like I said, if you do it the other way, where you emboss it first, just to kind of tack them all into place, I think that'd be better. Okay, so I managed to pick most of that back, so it looks again like a quilt, and then I'm just going to pop it into the middle of this 6x6 top folding card, like so. I think it looks really, really nice. It's just such a lovely design. This one I am just going to pop it right in the middle. So this is a thank you in the silver, and I think that will do. And then I think I'm going to do some faux stitching just around the frame there. So I've just got a fine liner and just do some little dashes all around the edge there. Subtle detail, but it just fills in some of that white space. But there it is close up. You can really see all that detail. I think it looks lovely. So that's card number 4. And then for card number 5, I'm using these scraps here from that Herbarian by Crafter's Companion collection. So I've made a 5x7 black card blank. This is a piece of 7x10, and along the 10-inch side you score at 5 and fold in half. That'll give you a card blank. Now I did already do this one here just to see if it was going to be something that I wanted to do. So the idea is I'm going to have layers of ripped card. Now I know sometimes people are like, oh, ripping my card stock, but because it's scraps, it's going to be fine. And then I'm just going to have this as a simple hello card. And I've got these tiles which look like Scrabble letters, and they are by Creative, Simply Creative, again available at Craft Label. I'll try and link as much of this below, but I thought hello just down the bottom there, and then all of the different ripped pieces. So you want the pieces to be the width of the card. So these are all 5, well this one's 5 inches. I want to get this one down first, and then I can kind of decide on the rest. I'm just going to mark with my nail there. So I would suggest, you know, get your sentiment kind of stamped at the bottom, or if you're using something like I've got here, get that kind of placed, and then you'll know how big to have your first layer. So you can see that's going to fit nicely in there. And this one is, so it would be, it's 5 by 5.5, but that, you know, the length of it may be different depending on how much you rip. But I'm going to get that one stuck down first of all. So these are double-sided, so I've got a different print to use further up. That's what I want, the lighter colour next. So I'm going to cut that again to 5, and then I'm going to use my ruler to roughly, if I cut it to 5 by 5, that's going to end up coming up to about 4.5 by the time I've ripped it. So let's pop this in. So 5 by 5. So you only end up seeing a little bit from the one below. So that needs to come in a little bit. So just slightly under. You can always trim it from the back. I think that's better. Yeah. And then when you're tearing, if you tear towards you, then you'll get that white core. You can see now it comes up higher. Yeah, so I'm going to stick that one down, and then I'm going to go back to this black one here. So I've just finished that one with the hello there. I think it looks really nice. Simple card, but really effective, and another fun way to use up your scraps. So that's this week's 5 cards using your scraps. So just again go through them all so you can see them again close up. I think this one might be my favourite. Let me know in the comments which one's your favourite. Then you've got that lovely woven design. I think if you've done this in all different mirrored cards, that would look really nice. This one, which is still drying, I think it's really good. Loads of texture on this one, and I love the shine there from the candles. And then this one, like I said, I would tack them in place and get them embossed first, and then distress the edges and stick them down permanently. But I'm really pleased with that one. It still looks like a quilt, which is what I wanted. And then lastly, this one here, which is just layering up those pieces with the torn distress edge and the little sentiment at the bottom there. So thank you for watching today. As always, I will link everything that I can and that I've used in the description box below. That little distress tool is really useful though, so I definitely recommend that one. And I'll be back again next Sunday with more fun ideas on how to use your scraps. Bye.